My GF is cheating on me. Don't know if it's physical. How do I know? I 23 meters have been with my GF 21F since the past 2 years. I have been 100% faithful and always politely rejected any advance that any woman has ever done on me. I had to go out of town for 3 months to attend a training. We used to call each other on video at least twice a day. I came back from the trip and saw her posting a story on Snapchat. No big deal. The only thing I noticed is that she had 4 pics on her story while I could just see 3 on my phone. I went to my friend's place later in the day and asked him if I could use his Snap to check out a few stories, since my internet was slow. Sure enough, I see the 4th pic. It's a post-workout selfie where the bra is pulled so far down that 2 centimeters here or there and her areola would show. My heart sunk a bit because I did not expect her to hide stories from me. I was so anxious about this and starting blaming myself for being inadequate. I lost a little bit of hair summer and this added to the insecurity. One day I saw a text message on her phone from a guy along the lines of "Miss you baby." I opened it while she was in the washroom and find the mess timing for months. The amount of sadness just made me numb and I kept her phone back after reading the chat. I had tears in my eyes and my head was spinning. This is the woman I introduced to my parents and had plans to get married in a year or so. I take her phone again and search for keywords like biobs, s-time, etc. and I find multiple chats with multiple people. I broke out into tears and kept the phone back again. I took her phone a 3rd time to see if she had plans to physically meet someone. By the time I could search, she came into the room and saw me on her phone. She lost it and started yelling at me for breaking our trust and snooping. I immediately brought up what I saw and she went cold, started crying and apologizing. She blamed it on past relationship trauma and troubled childhood. She begged for forgiveness and I ended up forgiving her after a few weeks. You can imagine my self-esteem and confidence by this point. Fast forward 2 months, she stops having S-time with me. We kiss, and the moment I start to undress her, she stops me right there saying that she is seeing her dead grandmother and loses interest. She did this for 6 straight weeks. I started suspecting that she is cheating. I look at her phone and find out that she's S-timing the same guy before coming to my place. All messages before a few hours have been deleted. This was it for me. I broke things off and she started to beg and plead again. She assured me that nothing physical was going on. She told a friend of ours that I'm accusing her of cheating. How do I gather some proof around this? Just in case she goes around bashing me. The last behavior around S-time is too much of a red flag emo for her to not be cheating physically as well. Final question: what are some good ways to bring my original self back? Lost all confidence and can trust no one now. I used to be super trusting. Redditor's reactions, story 2 after. Redditor 1, sexting is cheating. She is cheating. You made the right decision. Redditor 2, why are you accepting her disrespect? She is cheating and you don't leave her. She is definitely physically cheating. Dump her, block her, and go work on yourself. It isn't her past trauma that makes her do anything, it's her choice to be a piece of poop, disrespectful a whole. Stop accepting this treatment and behavior and go work on you. You have no self-respect, self-esteem and don't know your worth. You need to be single for a very long time till you can know your worth so this doesn't happen to you ever again. She will keep trying to keep you, she will lie and say she will be better. She doesn't respect you and doesn't want you. She shows you in the fact that she doesn't want to be intimate with you. Stop being a simp and leave, block her so she can't fake cry to you and pull on your heartstrings. She isn't what you want, she will never be what you thought she was. Op answer, hard-hitting facts. I've blocked her off from my life, but still want to find some hard evidence for the cheating that I can keep with me if she starts spreading lies. Redditor 3, you don't need to find evidence. What good will it bring you? You made the right choice by breaking up with her, as clearly anyone who reads your story will come to the conclusion that she cheated, and most probably physically too. And as for your friends, you can explain your reasoning if you want to, and if you don't, you can just say that I just don't want to be in a real relationship with her, and if they still pester you, then I also suggest you reevaluate your friendship with them as if they were real friends. The moment you explain things they would understand, as your reasons will be logical and they are your friends who are supposed to support your logical decisions, not question them. Be well up and remember, work hard on yourself and be safe. That's the way of getting back yourself original and best self, as they say. Story 2. I 32 busted my wife of 5 years 38F on her way to an affair, have kids, what to do? Hi everyone. Made a throwaway account for this one. Quick backstory, we have 2 kids together and she has 4 kids from other relationships, 2 of which have moved out of home. I love her kids like my own, and will do anything to provide a happy family for them. Before we met, I had my idea of the perfect bachelor life, but happily gave it up for her and her kids. So tonight my wife went out to meet some friends and I was a bit suspicious, so I jumped on her Facebook and read a rather steamy conversation between her and a guy I'll call Luke, since that is his name. Anyway, he had given her a fairly descriptive description of what he was going to do to her when she arrived at his house. I gave her a call and confronted her about it, to which she lied deluxe about it until I told her about the messages. I pretty much told her how I am still crazy about her, but if she meets him then we are done. I told her to come back home and we can talk through everything. She came back home after I called her, but said she came back because of the kids. We talked for as long as we could about it. She said it was basically due to her being a mother since she was 18 or so, and she is tired of the rut of the kids, even though they are the most important things to her. So I don't know where that leaves me. My wife would have cheated on me, said she came back because of the kids, not me. If we didn't have kids I would go straight for a divorce without even talking about the situation, but I can't just walk out on the boys. I don't know what to do, I'm heartbroken and don't even have anybody to talk to about it. I love my wife and family, they are everything to me, but she was going to throw it away when it wasn't even something I did. I don't know what to do, advice or anything would be great. Sorry if this didn't make much sense, I've had a few drinks. Redditor's reactions, story 3 after. Redditor 1, a friend's parents got a divorce when she was 20 and her brother a few years older. Her parents basically stayed together for them, you know, for the kids. She felt lied to, and like she and her brother were responsible for her parents' crappy marriage, because hey, they stayed in the marriage for them. In other words, if your marriage is crappy, perhaps it is not always the best thing to stay in it for the kids. Unless you are both great actors. Op answer, I've not thought about it like that, I've just always assumed the kids would be devastated by the divorce rather than upset we stayed together for them. Redditor 2, I don't think you should stay together for the kids. Better to spend time between 2 happy households than to live full time in one where 2 people resent each other. Op answer, that's the thing though. I moved internationally coming up 10 years ago and miss my home country a lot. She and the family are the only thing keeping me here, and without them I have nothing but an average job left. I've not even been able to make many friends here since the ones I did have fizzled out when my last ex and I broke up. Redditor 3, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Children model their relationships after what they see at home. If you can honestly fix it and return to a loving marriage, that's great. If you are stuck in a loveless, stay together for the kids, but resenting each other's situation, they will see that. They will see that their parents never hug and kiss and are not affectionate to each other, and that will be their base model for a relationship. It's better to show the kids that you can split up and co-parent effectively, while finding a partner whom brings you happiness as well. Op answer, I think that's probably the answer there. I want to make it work with all my heart, but if it really won't work, then I guess there isn't much point forcing it, and just dragging out a bad situation. Story 3, my 24M wife 22F had an affair while I was away for work. We decided to move past it. Now she's pregnant, and we can't agree how to proceed. I guess I'm looking for advice just as much as a chance to vent. Sorry if this isn't the place for that. My wife and I have been married for 2 years, together for 4. I work on a river barge, so I spend about a month away from home at a time for work, followed by 2 weeks off. I've been doing this for the last year since I got laid off from my other job. I just got back from a job, and found out that my wife has been having an affair with an old boyfriend that recently came back to town. I asked her how many times, and I wish I didn't. She said she wasn't sure and that it had been a continual thing. They started talking on Facebook a few months ago, but it had only been innocent catching up until this last time I left. This time, they agreed to meet up, and had basically been sleeping together all month while I was away. She said that she had planned to end it when I got back, and knew she had to come clean. She let me look at her Facebook message inbox and text messages for proof, and the messages were consistent with her story and timeline. My initial reaction was that the marriage was over. I felt betrayed, hurt, and didn't think I'd ever be able to trust her again. I work my ass off so that she doesn't have to work while she's in school. I felt like being faithful was the least she could do for me. She knew what marriage meant to me long before we took our vows. Both of us are Catholics. We aren't perfect Catholics by a long shot, but we're deeply religious. I stressed to her that for me, marriage is a forever commitment. In sickness and in health, and till death do us part means something to me. I told her that I knew I wanted to be with her for the rest of my life, but only if she could promise me that she knew the same thing. I stayed at a friend's place for a few days and thought it over. First, I talked to our priest. He reminded me what I signed up for and believed in. Marriage is a forever commitment, and that means being able to forgive and work past problems. He recommended that for now I find work closer to home so I can be with my wife, and that we seek marriage counseling either through the church or with a therapist. I also talked to some of the older guys I work with, and it kind of gave me some perspective. A lot of them had gone through the same thing. Some of their marriages survived, and a lot of them didn't. But all of them agreed that spending long periods away from home at a time can be rough on any marriage, but especially tough for young marriages. I understand that feeling constantly lonely and being by yourself in an empty house is hard. We talked, and she assured me that she loved me. She promised me that the affair meant nothing to her, that she just felt alone, and that she would cut off all contact with the guy. She understood that she would have to work to earn my trust back, agreed to give me access to her Facebook and to check her phone randomly until I can trust her again. She also agreed to go to marriage counseling. On my end, I've agreed to find a local job, so that I can be with her and focus on our marriage. We aren't having S-time right now, and haven't since she came clean to me. I wanted it to take it slow getting intimate again, and she has respected that. We've been kissing, cuddling, and sleeping in the same bed. More recently, she has been insisting on giving me hand jobs, which I'm okay with. She says she just wants to know that I still want her, and that she wants to please me. I do want her, and I appreciate her efforts. Still, no S-time though. It's not her, it's me. I still find her attractive, but I think it's going to take at least a little while before I feel like having S-time with her again. I guess I still feel grossed out by the prospect of it. Like she's unclean or something. She understands how I feel, and is okay with it. She offered to let me cheat on her to get even or get some physical release, but I declined. I don't want to screw somebody else. I want to be with my wife, and I just want things to go back to normal. 2 weeks later, we find out she's pregnant. Obviously, the other guy is the father. I'm the only person she has told so far. Being religious, abortion, off the bat, was off the table for us. I told her that I want her to put the baby up for adoption. I'm willing to forgive her and repair our marriage, and I can look past an awful lot. What I know that I cannot do is go through every day looking at a reminder of her infidelity and having this other guy intertwined in our lives in some capacity. I can't do it. I know that probably makes me a poor Christian, but I've got to believe that God understands that I'm not perfect and forgives me. She wants to keep the baby. She says that the other guy never has to know about it and that she understands that our marriage cannot survive with him in our lives. But her opinion is that it isn't the baby's fault. The baby didn't ask to be born out of an adulterous relationship. And that we would be unnecessarily causing the baby to suffer by putting it up for adoption. She also says that the baby is part of her, and that she would like me to be able to love and accept the child as a part of her instead of the other man. I understand where she is coming from, and I get that it would have to be terrible to carry a baby and have it growing inside of you for 9 months knowing that you've got to give it away as soon as it's born. But I can't do it? I really don't know what else to say. She has agreed to go talk to our priest about it with me, but regardless of what he says, I can't see either of us budging on it. My marriage might be over, and all I feel like doing is drinking until I pass out. I barely think about it, but we haven't even talked to our families about the infidelity yet, let alone the pregnancy. The whole thing is embarrassing and I don't want the attention. I don't want people telling me that we're in their prayers but judging our marriage and guessing how each of us failed. I just want it all to go away. Thank you for reading this. If anyone else has gone through something like this and has had their marriage survive, I'd love to hear from you. I could use some optimism about now. Edit. Thank you to everyone for your replies. I am going to go ahead and see if I can meet with an attorney tomorrow and find out what I need to do to ensure that I won't be financially responsible for the child. I expect that she will probably be angry and see this as some sort of power move to force her into adoption. It's clear to me that I could not be happy raising another man's child. It's just too much to ask. I plan to talk to her and tell her that, while I forgive her for the adultery itself, the marriage is doomed. We're at an impasse where one of us has to lose in order for the other one to win. There is no half baby. It's all in or all out. Moreover, it isn't fair to deny the father's child a chance to know he is a father or the child a chance to know who his father is. I don't personally fault him for what happened. I don't know him, he doesn't know me. I question his morals in sleeping with a married woman, but it isn't as if he had any duty or pledged loyalty to me. It's my wife I should be angry with if anything. I can't even manage that. I just want to get this over with and move forward. Thanks again everyone. Edit to update. I've spoken to a good friend and attorney about it this morning, and he has offered to represent me and work with me on cost. I've decided to move forward with initiating divorce. As I've said, I have forgiven her what she did. But I've also realized that forgiveness doesn't mean that it would be healthy for either of us to remain in the marriage. I can't raise this child. I don't blame the child, but I know that I would resent it every day. Even if my wife agreed to adoption, I know that she would resent me for pressuring her to do it. The fact is, she has made her choice emotionally. We both know what she wants the outcome to be, and the best thing I can do for both of us in the long term is to stick to my guns. If I'm able to get an annulment through the church, fantastic. If not, so be it. I've got a hard time believing that God will not forgive me for this. For now, my attorney has advised me not to tell my wife and instead to collect all evidence I have of the affair first. I'd like to believe that my wife wouldn't try to destroy the evidence, but given what has happened and what is at stake, I'm not going to take the chance. I'll speak to her sometime this week, and will ask her to leave. Redditor's reactions. Redditor 1, it is asking a lot of you to raise the result of your wife's affair as your own. I understand why she feels the way she does. Few women want to part with their babies, but she's asking too much of you. Leave her. If she wants to keep the baby, let her keep it. The other guy can co-parent and pay for it, and you'll be free to seek out a companion who is willing to be faithful to you and give you the family of your own that you deserve. Edit, and since she was clearly barebacking with her affair partner, make sure you have been thoroughly tested for STDs. Redditor follow-up, the other guy can co-parent and pay for it. To add to this, make sure to check the laws in your area. Because even if you're not the father, if your wife has a child while you're married, you still might be on the hook for child support, due to the fact that you're her spouse. So decide quickly if you want to divorce her, which is highly recommended, and proceed with the divorce ASAP so that you won't be on the hook for child support. Redditor 2, you need to get a consultation with a family attorney right away. In some states, if you're married, you'll be presumed to be the baby's legal father and could be held liable for child support. Less talking to your priest and more talking to an attorney. Redditor follow-up, one of the few times on this sub where calling for a lawyer is a totally appropriate reaction. Redditor 3, how in the duck can you move past that? You must be some kind of saint. That, or just really naive. This relationship is dead on so many levels. If you don't leave now, you are going to be in hell on earth once that baby comes, if you aren't already. I understand that religion is likely playing a large part in why you don't want to divorce, and I totally respect that, but she completely poop all over that already by cheating on you with her ex and then deciding that she wants to keep his baby. You would be raising another man's child that was conceived out of infidelity. Like, what the duck? No way, man. You know what you have to do. You'd be far better off without her. Also, once that baby comes, you better get a paternity test immediately. Op answer, how in the duck can you move past that? You must be some kind of saint. That, or just really naive. This relationship is dead on so many levels. If you don't leave now, you are going to be in hell on earth once that baby comes, if you aren't already. I was prepared to forgive her before the pregnancy came up. If she decides to keep the baby, the marriage is over. Given what I've already decided to look past, raising this child is more than I'm capable of tolerating. Part of me hopes that she can be persuaded to give up the baby to save our marriage, but I don't think she will. Redditor 4, she wants to keep it. Raising another guy's kid that came as the result of an affair, what could possibly go wrong? Come on, Duda. You know the answer here. Redditor follow-up, my sentiments the same. You know your own strengths and limitations better than your wife and priest. Go with your gut, and your gut doesn't look like it can handle the experience. Best of luck, mate.